Bands and make her dance. Bands and make her dance. All these cheeks popping and they ain't using hands. Bands and make her dance. So, YouTube, good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I'm going to be doing my errands today. Don't have no plans too much. Don't know what the weekend is ahead, but so far no plans, and I'm been doing my errands. But I'm getting old because I'm falling asleep early. I think I fell asleep like 10:30. I was in and out of sleep because they be loud. Like Brownsville, just and my building is the loud building. It's known to be loud, you know. But I was in and out of sleep. I woke up for good. Woke up to use the bathroom, and I was finishing like watching the Players Club. And how many of y'all comment, like, and subscribe if you remember UPN? Like UPN was literally BET before I started watching BET, and I remember I have old school parents. My parents are 69 this summer. My mother turned 69 already, and my father will be 69 the 19th of this month. And so, like, I didn't know about BET until my friends in school told me about it. So I started watching BET, I feel like 10 or 11, and I was attracted to Comic View. And so those comedians actually come to 275 Park Avenue. Rest in peace to Ray DeJean. He is the king of comedy for Brooklyn. And he had the network and the patience to get people to come together. Nobody else is doing it in New York that I know of. And he just had the juice, you know. He had a passion for comedy. And so from 2010, he used to do the comedy in the movie theater on Linden Boulevard. Those of y'all from the Brooklyn area and Queens. Because it's funny, because when I was in high school, a friend of mine, he actually put me on to the diner that was directly across the street from me. He's like, yo, you live in East New York? I was like, yeah. And he's like, yo, you live by the diner, don't you? With them tall buildings and the terraces. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, everybody be up in that diner. So after he said that, like, me and my family, we just started going to the diner, and that became like our tradition. Like, it's so many memories with that diner. Dates. I've taken people. My family, graduations, my son's graduation, my graduation. You know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, comedy. So he was in a movie theater for about, I want to say, 2 years. And then he upgraded to the diner. And then with COVID, he was in a diner for a while. I want to say he was in a diner from like 13 all the way to COVID. So he was there for a while. And it used to be ladies free. He always had stuff at a discounted price. And then whatchamacallit, then COVID happened, and then in 2022 he opened up his own spot, 274 Park Avenue, and I've been there quite a few times. And from J. Anthony Brown to Tucker, which is I forget his first name, but it's Chris Tucker's no, Chris Rock's brother. Um, so many comedians that, you know, came to the movie theater. Michael Blackson came to the movie theater, y'all. I seen him for $20, and he's hilarious. Like, he has, you know how people have natural ability. He came on and he was like, "What the fuck is this shit? This is not even a stage. This is a table." And they literally, the diner in the movie theater, I kid you not, they would use a lunchroom table, because I remember them type of brown tables. Those of y'all who went to ghetto ass private schools, like my schools was ghetto. My elementary school was good, but I remember certain shit was ghetto. Like we didn't have the like a normal table. We had them brown ass tables. When I got to high school, we got like a real lunch table, you know. But I remember the brown ass tables, and they would put like tablecloth on top or whatever they would put on top. No, they didn't put nothing on top. It was But I remember, and they would use that fucking brown ass table that you use for a cookout for a stage. Yo, and Michael Blackson just went in on that. Just the talent, just natural talent. Like, I love that type of comedy where it's on the spot. And Ray DeJean had that. Somebody came on the stage, somebody's wearing something. He'd be like, yo, this nigga look like a whole pimp. Super fly up this bitch. Alright. And that's your hoe? That's your side chick. And you can't help but to laugh because it's like, oh my God. But rest in peace, Deja Jean. And that's what I love BET for, the comic view. I wasn't a fan of 106 in Park. Ooh, I know. But the BET movies, and those movies came on UPN 9 first. Asha, older, anybody that's 30 and over, not even 30, because I feel like they may or may not remember, but I'm 36, so 36 and over, UPN 9 was like really good. And Players Club, I remember recording it, and my father watched it, and he enjoyed it. Players Club, most men who watch it, or most people, they just think it's, oh, Lisa Ray, and she's a sex symbol, right? But it's such a good movie to me, and I wanted to say, from the very first time I seen Players Club, I was about 9 years old, and I was very young, but I was very mature for my age. And to be honest, it's because of that movie that I was never a stripper. And y'all might watch this and laugh, but I just wanted to talk about how the 90s movies, they raised us. Like some movies were just so good. You watched it and it was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Or some books were so good. Shout out to Sister Soldier. I've done this on my channel I've read her book on my channel. And Sister Soldier is like, you can't help but to like read her book and listen to what she's saying. And The Coldest Winter Ever, to me, was more than a book. It was a tell-all to never date a drug dealer, because not just because it's illegal, but they are some selfish motherfuckers. Like, they will sit there and get you and set you up so you go to jail. So that's what taught me to I was never into bad boys because of that book. Like, that book is so devastating. First of all, it's a page turner. And it's like, even if I feel like a person, even if you're not from the hood, you're gonna love it. And I promote it. Coldest Winter Ever. Let me see if I can find it and show y'all. So I cannot find my book, The Coldest Winter Ever, and the book No Disrespect. I know it gotta be somewhere in my closet, but I'm looking where I would normally put it and it ain't there. But anyway, Sister Soldier, I don't care what race you are, you need to read it. It's a page turner. It's one of those books that you will be reading it until you fall asleep. Like, it is that good. And it talks about a young lady, very young lady, 13, 14 years old. Her name is Winter, and she doesn't go to school. Her father is a drug dealer, and so he eventually gets arrested. And that's why I love the book so much, because it's real. Drug dealing don't last always. They actually lived in the projects, but he was making so much money that they lived in a mansion in Long Island. However, he gets arrested, right? Because two things end up happening when you're a drug dealer. You end up in jail or dead, right? That's only two ways and that's real, So he ends up getting arrested, and so the mother doesn't know how to take care of herself, which is most women that are a kept bitch, as to say what the book describes. The mother never worked. The mother didn't know how to take care of herself. So when the father was arrested, she went to the streets and she went on drugs. So it shows you different things that happen in a family. He went to jail. She kind of like bounced around, and then she had twin siblings that they went to different foster cares homes. And while she's bouncing around and trying to survive, she actually ends up dating a drug dealer, because that's all she knows. Fast money and the high life, right? Some women, for me, My father always worked, so of course, naturally, I'm always going to be attracted to a working man. Not just because I work, but my father. So it just, the book is so good because it shows you why. You know, I remember I had a former friend, and she's like, I don't understand. You know, she's from Long Island, so she's like, I don't understand why anybody would be attracted to a drug dealer. It's not that some women are attracted to a drug dealer, it's the lifestyle that they could provide. Hence why drug dealers in general, they don't really fall in love with women. They use women as a tool. So they may marry you, but that's because you're the baddest bitch on the block. Not because they actually love you. You look good on their arm. And a lot of men from the cloth, they think the same way. Who's gonna look good on my arm? First lady, whatever. It's kind of like a similar thing. You have a lot of drug dealers that become pastors. It's the same way that they run their churches. Some of them, not all of them, don't beat me up, but it's the same method of give me my money. If you don't give me my money, this would happen to you. And so I think I told y'all in a previous video where there was this particular bishop. I don't even know his name, and I wouldn't say his name, but I was visiting a church, and I just felt the spirit. And I remember telling my father, like, he got the spirit of a drug dealer, because this man got up and said, if you don't give this money, God will not bless you, right? So with drug dealers, when they try to get money from you, if you don't give me my money, this is going to happen. So as he's talking, and I always pray for discernment, right? What I was discerning from him is he used to be in the streets. So the same hustle format. If you don't do this, this is gonna happen. It's like a bully mechanism, right? So certain types of women are drawn to certain types of men, and vice versa, right? So with Winter, the father was drawn to somebody like her mother. He don't want somebody that could do for herself, right? That's a turnoff for a man that is controlling, that's a narcissist. They never want that. They always want a weak woman who needs them for everything, right? That has nothing to do with being a protector and provider. That's control. Let's keep it real, right? So because she had that mindset, she became a crackhead. There's a part in the book that Winter is in survival mode. And when I first read the book, I was about 12 or 13 years old. I might have been younger. And I'm reading the book, and I thought that Winter was the worst daughter in the world. I'm like, oh my God. There's a scene in the book where that's how good it was. It felt like a movie. But there's a scene in there where her mother is knocking on the door, and her boyfriend slides crack under the door. And she was like, she couldn't face her mother because her mother was on drugs, and proceeded to stay in a relationship with him after that. She gets pregnant, she gets an abortion, she's bleeding, he still wants to penetrate. And finally, in the end, he sets her up. The drugs are in the car, the police pull him over, and so what does he say? It's not mine, it's hers. She goes to jail, and she's like distraught and can't believe. But the only reason why he got with her was because she was Ricky Santiago's daughter. That's the only reason why he got with her, right? It was for a trophy. It was for bragging rights in the streets. Like, yeah, I got his daughter. Because her father was popular. People look up to him, right? She was in love with Midnight. Now, Midnight was a tall, dark, and handsome brother. He was Muslim. He was educated, so he didn't want her because he knew she was for the streets. But she loved Midnight because Midnight was just, he worked for her father, but he was different. He respected her. There's a scene in a book where she's like, oh, I got big breasts and I'm so pretty and everybody wants me. But he would like push her away because he was scared, because he respected her. And it's like, you gotta read the book, because it's like, Then there's a Sister Soldier Midnight. Oh my God, I read that book. I have the book. I feel like I gave that away because I kind of midway it started getting boring. But I need to get that book again because, girl, Midnight is sexy. Midnight is mysterious. Midnight. Ooh, Midnight. Midnight is the man that you want, but he wants you, but it's certain things. So Winter was a minor, right? Midnight knew this. Winter was the daughter of his employer, right? He knew this. So he knew he couldn't touch her because of those two things. Like, he respected her, which was something that she wasn't used to. She was like, he got these big luscious. She's like, I know he want me, but he not doing nothing. Like, and Winter was that girl that, like a lot of us could have any man she want, but Midnight was off limits because he was disciplined. I think that's a good word. Like, he wanted her too, but he would not hit it. And that made her like him more because he would not hit. He was like, nah, shorty, you mad young, first of all. Then I worked for your pops. Like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. And he was a respectable man, like, and so in the book Midnight, it goes into, his mom was a Muslim and she was a single parent, and she was in the projects, and she didn't respect herself, and she let different men around him and his siblings. He kind of had to step up and be a father. He didn't sell drugs the whole time, but he sold drugs, and it's a really good story, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Coldest winter ever, and the way it ends is her little sister. So Winter had two siblings that were twins, and the girl twin was telling her about a guy she was dating that was a drug dealer. And the way it ends, the very end of the book, she's like, she gonna have to learn for herself, But the fact that it's like, I think it is a part 2 or something. It's another Winter book that I saw, but it's good. And I said all that to say that it's like the writers of the 90s, they didn't just write for entertainment. They wrote to teach you something. And I could truly say, like, movies like The Players Club and Prison Song. Prison Song is with Q-Tip and Mary J. Blige. It's about how the system fails black people sometimes. Not to put the blame on a white man, but it's a couple. He's selling his photography. She's in school. She's working. And then they have their little boy. He's in school. He's trying to do homework. And then, whatever. Trying to be a good boy. And so the father gets arrested and things get out of hand with him and a police officer. He ends up locked up. Q-Tip grows up. He gets into an altercation with he was in a group home, and his enemy, which is Fat Joe, was jealous of him. So they get into a fight, and he pushes Fat Joe on the tracks, and he ends up in jail. And then Mary J. Blige ends up in a psych ward, and she dropped out of school before all of that because, like, after her fiance gets arrested and in jail, she drops out of school because it's kind of like she loses hope. And what hurt my feelings about that movie when she throws the books in the garbage, that was like so sad to me because she's like throwing away her dreams, and she ends up in a psych ward. She loses custody of him, and so he becomes property of the state in foster care, and then he ends up in jail too. So movies like that, when you watch it, it's just like, it's sad. It really does something to you. And they got good movies now on Netflix and stuff, but there's nothing like the 90s and 2000s. But back to Players Club. I said a lot. I wanted to talk about Players Club. So Players Club, there's certain scenes about it I wanted to talk about. So the scene that impacted me as a young woman is just my experience. Men are fixated on you with clothes on, right? They'll stalk you, follow you, whatever. So for me, I've always been afraid to be a stripper because if men act a certain way with your clothes on, imagine with your clothes off, right? And so in the scene, the guy is following her, and it's like a zigzag to get to her apartment. It's not like just one, two, three. So he was following her for a while, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I always make sure you get home." She's like, "What?" So she walks in, and Ebony's in bed with her ex-boyfriend. So, yeah, so that really impacted me, that scene. And also, of course, Ebony getting raped. That was like a really sad scene for me because a lot of sickos will watch it and be like, oh, she put herself in that situation. But you got old grandmas who get raped. Nobody asks to get raped. And so that scene for me was very interesting. And it's like, most people, I feel like it's a lot of strippers who get raped and they don't say anything because they probably feel like they deserve it. But rape is something that's very like under the cover, not talked about. And we were all happy when Lisa Ray kicked her ass. Like, that is my favorite girl fight scene. Like, she was like, it's hard. It's women like you to make it hard for women like me. That's for me. She's like, that's for Ebony, and that's for me. And in real life, Lisa Ray and Crystal did not get along. The girl's name, the blonde hair, her name is Crystal with an H. And they did not get along. I'm guessing maybe jealousy. I don't know, like, y'all both light skinned. I don't know what the problem is. Y'all should be best friends. Like, like, I don't know. You know, light skinned girls, we gotta stick together. But they did not get along. So that's what made the scene so passionate, because two bitches who did not like each other and they hated each other. So that's what made the scene so good, you know. But Players Club, you know, some people say, wow, you digging too deep into it. It's a deep movie, and I wish Ice Cube would make a part 2. And I would say anybody who has not seen Players Club, please watch it. And don't watch it to look at Lisa Ray's body. That's no. Okay? For the men, of course, that's what y'all want to see. But really, I need y'all to really pay attention to certain things in a movie, because it's good. Like, it should have been a book. And it really, I know I'm not the only one who watched it and was like, yeah, I'm not going to be a stripper because look at that shit. You could get stalked. You could get raped. There's so many negative things that can happen to you. And also, I read the book From Porn to the Pulpit. Really good book. I forgot the author's name, but she went through a lot. And she said that when you're stripping, for the most part, most women, they're not sober. You know, they're drinking or using drugs, you know. It's glamorized, but that lifestyle is not good, you know. It's not even because society looks down on it. It's just, it's not good. You know, it's just not good. You're introduced to a lot of things. A lot of girls, they leave stripping, they go into porn, they go into things that they would never do, but it's introduced to them in strip clubs, you know. So they start prostituting. Because with Porn to the Pulpit, that book, I gotta find that book too. That book is so good. That's another one that's like really, really good. She actually started stripping. She got into stripping from her choir member. Go figure. And so when she started stripping, that person put her on to prostitution and then later porn. And so the book is so good because it shows the sequence of events. She was abused by her father. Her father beat her so bad that he lost custody. That's how bad he beat her. And he was schizophrenic and bipolar. And so she went through a lot. She was living with her grandmother. At this point, she doing good, grades good. Grandmother brings her to church. Her choir member introduces her to stripping. And then that's where the downfall goes. That's when she starts, no, I think she said the choir member put her on to prostitution. One of the two. but she was doing good. Like, she was getting good grades and everything, living with her grandmother. And so this choir member put her on to a lifestyle that she was not prepared for. So it's such a good book. Like, I wish she could turn it into a movie, but it's called From Porn to Pulpit. And she became a minister, and because of Juanita Bynum Ministries, she was like, um, she was watching her one day, and she was in a hotel just crying, and she was watching Juanita Bynum, and Juanita Bynum could preach, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. If it wasn't for Juanita Bynum, I listen. Her between her and T.D. Jakes, I've been able to get over a lot of things, and yeah, she got a ministry for real. So she was watching. I guess one of her most powerful sermons is "No More Sheets." Like, I'm tough, but when you watch that sermon, you gonna cry. Or you gonna cry, like, because she just talks about her struggle, and she's so real with it, Juanita Bynum, and she talks about how, when you get married in the church, no one tells you what happens after divorce. No one teaches you that. So when she got divorced, she was poor. She actually was sleeping with different pastors to keep a roof over her head because she had nowhere to go. She was so poor that she had to use like McDonald's tissue to wipe herself. That's how, like, Juanita Bynum went through a real story, y'all, and that's why I love her ministry, because she's real. She keep it real, and that's why she's so anointed. And when she talks, she's so, some people don't like that, but Juanita Bynum has been through a lot. She was abused by her second husband. He beat her so bad that she got pneumonia in her chest because he beat her that bad. Like, she been through a lot. And when you've been through a lot, I'ma listen to you, because you could teach me something. So because of Juanita Bynum Ministries, she also came from Greater Bethel Ministries too, 215 Jamaica. That's her church. That's where she came from. She still goes there. They used to have Tuesday morning prayer. I don't know if they still do it, but I remember because we shared a bathroom with the church, the high school. We didn't have our own bathroom. We had to share it with the church, and the people would be there brushing their teeth. Why do I remember stuff like that? But yeah, they would be in there. They never stink. They never had a body odor, but they would be in there brushing their teeth, like whatever. But it was Tuesday mornings, and Juanita Bynum would be in charge of the prayer. I don't know if they still do it, but look at New Greater Bethel Ministries, y'all, 215 Jamaica. If you're in the Queens area, yeah. But anyway, so it's like her thing was so powerful, and yeah, But back to Players Club. So Players Club, she was stripping to get through school, which is a story for many people, but it's so good because it's teaching you, don't do it. Like, just don't do it, because stripping is more than just taking your clothes off. You selling your soul, literally. You selling your soul, because it's like, it's a lot, and unfortunately, I know a lot of girls I went to school with, and they became strippers. Two of them stopped. One of them works in a hospital, married. The other one joined the army, and she's a police officer now. And then there's another girl that she's still stripping. So it's like, whatever. And then another girl, nobody's heard from her. Hopefully she's okay. But the glamorization of stripping is really crazy to me. People get into it for different reasons. Some girls actually, and one thing about all those girls that from my high school that became strippers, they had real traumatic stories, right? Like, one of them, her dad was never around. The other one, she actually was raped, and her baby died when she was 13. Like, another girl, I don't think she was raped, but she been through a lot. So people have a lot of trauma that they don't get over. And so they think by stripping that's going to make them feel better. A lot of it is not even because of money. It's just like attention. Sometimes it is lack of resources. Like with Jocelyn Hernandez, she dropped out of school like really early. You could tell by the way she talks. She has a speech impediment. So people do it for a way of survival. and it's a way to get out of poverty. Other people, it's a trauma response. You know, trauma response is real. You know, Ebony in Players Club, she was just an inquisitive 18-year-old. And I think she did what most 18-year-olds would do, that don't have structure. Your mom is not with you. You with your older cousin. She got this nice ass apartment and car. She putting herself through school. Like, she don't need no scholarship, no nothing. She just straight banking it off of stripping. That might be appealing to you if you don't have nothing going on yourself. You don't have a job, you're not in school, so it's like, oh, okay, I'll strip, Um, so yeah, like, Players Club on Tubi, and check out The Coldest Winter Ever, and check out Midnight. You gotta read it. I gotta read it. I gotta finish reading it. I just Midnight is sexy. Like this, the book is so good. Is Midnight a real person, Sister Soldier? Does he have kids? Is he married? He's sexy. And those are my thoughts.